Hello! So I just put my fake nails on, so you know shit is about to go down. I honestly don't remember how to do this, but we're gonna sure as hell try because I miss talking about books and stuff, so we're gonna do this. Okay, hi! I'm Cherry and you've stumbled upon my channel, and today we are going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. It is my first time doing this tag. I've been in BookTube for like 2 years, but I've never done this tag because usually I just talk about the books I finish like a month after I finish them, so I never really felt the need to do this tag. But I have not filmed a video in so long, and I have not talked about most of the books that I've read so far this year, so I figured there's no harm really in doing the mid-year book freakout tag, so we are going to do that so I can talk to you about some of the books that I've read so far. Anyway, let us just get on to the questions. I don't remember how to do sit-down videos. Hang on. I have the questions on my phone. I want to turn on. My nails are so fucking... It's so hard to function with fake nails, but I love it. I love them so much. Okay. Question number 1. Best book you've read so far in 2022. I will name 2, and that is, the first one is Thin Girls by Diana Clark. This book is just amazing. It is incredible. It is a debut book, and it's about eating disorders, but like the characters are adults, and that is why I love it so much, because it veers away from the trope that you can only, not trope, stereotype. It veers away from the stereotype that only teenagers have eating disorders, and the main character has an eating disorder for like the longest time, like a decade or more, which is so relatable because, to be honest, eating disorders just don't disappear like that, you know? Like, I've had my eating disorder for like 15 years, and even if I'm recovery, I'm still suffering. So I like that aspect. The writing was just so pretty, but was not purple prosy in the least, which was incredible. I was so impressed. I love that book, and I plan to buy a physical copy so I can annotate it when I reread it. And it's probably one of my favorite eating disorder books now, or probably one of my favorite books of all time now. The next book is When I Was 10 by Fiona Cummins. I'm getting into psychological thrillers, but they usually disappoint me. I read When I Was 10 randomly. I don't know what compelled me to pick it up that time, but I did, and it did not disappoint. It was just so fucking good. It's about these 2 sisters, and they were abused growing up. So one of them murdered their parents, and then yeah, it goes from there. It's so messed up. It was just so dark and twisted, and I loved everything about it. I gave it like 4.5 over 5 stars. I don't know why I did not give it 5 stars. It just didn't feel like a 5-star, but it was definitely a 4.5. And I urge everyone to read it because I have not heard anyone else talk about it, and it deserves to be read. I don't put passwords on my phone because of my full-time job. I have to protect my emails and stuff, so the phone forced me to make a password. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep turning it on like that. Question number 2. Best sequel you've read so far in 2022. I've only read like 1 sequel this year, and to be honest, it's from one of my all-time favorite series, and that is Heart of Silver Flame by S.D. Simper, which is the second book in the Sea and Stars trilogy. It might as well be my favorite sequel, to be honest, because I really do love this series, but this book felt very much like the second book in a series. Like, nothing really happens. It's just like paving the way to the third book, which is where most of the shit happens. Nothing really happens in this book, to be honest, until the very last few pages, and then we'll see what happens in the final book, which I'm very excited about. I still haven't picked up the final book. I know I am very slow when it comes to series, but yeah, Heart of Silver Flame, definitely one of my favorite books this year too. And I feel like S.D. Simper's Sea and Stars trilogy doesn't really get the hype it deserves, so please do read it if you like sassy bisexual mermaids and soft butch princesses. That is like, I'm in love. I am so in love with Doriel and Talora, so Question number 3, new release you haven't read yet but want to. Definitely The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School by Sonora Reyes. It just got released last May, I think, and I want a physical copy so I can annotate it because as a Catholic school lesbian, I want to read about other Catholic school lesbians as well. And then Extasia by Claire Legrand, which is about sapphic witches, but it's YA. I really want to read it too because it's horror and it's sapphic witches, so I plan to read that in the next few months, both of those. But like, I want to read The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School physically, but Jesus fucking Christ, the paperback is so fucking expensive. Like, it's like 1,500 pesos on Book Depository, and I was like, why the fuck is a paperback this expensive? It doesn't make sense. And then question number 4, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I have so many, so I'm going to name 5, and I'm not going to give a summary or detailed summary about each one of them, but they will be shown here. And the first one is Mary, An Awakening of Terror by Nat Cassidy. It's a possession story as far as I know, and I love that. And most of the stories about characters named Mary are utterly terrifying, so there's that. Mary, An Awakening of Terror will be released this month in July. And then the next one is Reluctant Immortals by Gwendolyn Kist, which will be released in August. And I'm so excited for this one because this is another book about like women forgotten in history, but like this one's about Dracula's brides. And I have so many of Gwendolyn Kist's books on my TBR, and it's about time I read one of them. Maybe this will be the first. And then the next one is House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson, which will be released in September. And this one is about, I think, sapphic vampires? I think, maybe? I don't know, I'm not sure. But I read Year of the Witching, and I absolutely love that. So I'm pretty sure I'm just going to be reading whatever Alexis Henderson puts out at this point. And then the next one is Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke and Other Misfortunes by Eric LaRocca, which will release in September too. I absolutely loved Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. And when this collection comes out, there's like 3 stories, I think. When this collection comes out, I'm definitely going to be rereading Things Have Gotten Worse. I don't know, I gave it like 4.5 stars, but I feel like in my next read, I'm going to be giving it 5 stars because I'm just obsessed with it. I think about it all the time. And then in October 1st, I think, October 1st, it's going to be Moonflowers and Nightshade, which is a sapphic horror anthology. And yes, I am here for it, absolutely here for it. It's edited by Samantha Kolesnik, who wrote True Crime, which is also one of the most amazing books I've read. And I'm excited for this one, and I'm excited to see which authors will be in the book. For some reason, I'm kind of more excited about Moonflowers and Nightshade, to be honest. And then question number 5. Biggest disappointment. Definitely The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. It was just so fucking bad. I am so sorry, but that book was terrible. Catalina was an insufferable character. She was not a good MC, no matter how many people love her. Like, she's annoying. And some MCs are annoying, but she's like annoying in a very mean way. Like, I do not understand how Aaron Blackford came to fall in love with her, because Aaron Blackford was trying to befriend her despite their altercation when they first met. And Catalina was just, she was so fucking mean. Like, some of her insults to Aaron are just very much below the belt. Like, you're pushing boundaries, girl. Please pull back a little. I don't know. I don't like her, and I didn't like the story. And the only reason it got like, I gave it 2.5, I think, but the only reason I rounded up to 3 was because the smut was very well written, and that is pretty much the only well written part of the book. I absolutely hate this fucking book. And I hate Catalina. Aaron Blackford, please move on. You deserve someone better. And question number 6. Biggest surprise. That is absolutely Tangled by Emma Chase. I had not read like a straight smutty romance in so long, and Koilos, my book bestie, said we should buddy read this book. It was a reread for her, and it was the first time I read it, and I was so skeptical about reading it at first because I was like, this is straight, bro, we're both lesbians, how are we going to get through this fucking book? And then I read it, and it was so fucking fun. I absolutely fell in love with the book. I don't know, there's just something. Okay, first of all, it was just so funny. I hate male POVs. It's a given. I absolutely detest following male POVs and male characters in books. But this one, I flew through it because Drew, our POV, was hilarious. And people in the reviews were like, oh, this book is so misogynistic, blah, 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 blah. No. no, you don't understand. You know it was written by a woman because the misogynism was like so over the top that it was hilarious. And if you missed this part about the book, but like the women characters are very successful career women. Like, I absolutely loved, okay, one of them, my favorite character, Dolores, the best friend of the female love interest. She dresses like a bimbo, but she is a rocket scientist, and I think that's amazing. I love this book. I gave it 4 stars just because I didn't feel right about giving a book with a male POV 5 stars. But honestly, thinking about it now, it might be 5 stars, to be honest. Hashtag lesbians for Drew. And then question number 7, favorite new author, debut or new to you? I have 3 of those, and the first one is Diana Clark, which is the author of Thin Girls. She is just incredible, and I heard that she is actually an apprentice of Roxane Gay, and that's amazing to me. And then the next one is a poetess that I absolutely fell in love with this year, and I'm going to be reading everything that she puts out, and that's Erin Emily Ann Vance, who wrote A Touch of History. I love this. This is probably a new favorite poetry collection, horror poetry, and her writing is very Sylvia Plath-esque, which shows in her vivid imagery, and she uses a lot of nature in her imagery, which I really love. And her poems are very feminist too, so absolutely going to check out more of her work. And then Eric LaRocca. I am going to probably read anything Eric LaRocca brings out at this point, because I read You've Lost a Lot of Blood earlier, like a few weeks ago, and it's not my favorite book, but it was still amazing nonetheless. Like, the ending was like, I kind of saw it coming, but the way it was presented and the way it was written was just, I was still mind blown. So weird, right? Like, I kind of saw it coming, but I was still mind blown, which is so weird. I don't know how to explain it, but absolutely loved it. Loved it still. And then question number 8, newest fictional crush. Jesus, I don't want to admit this, but I kind of have a crush on Ivy K. Harlow from The Love Song of Ivy K. Harlow. She is one of the most obnoxious, self-centered characters that I have ever read about, and she reminds me of my girlfriend. That is so problematic, but she reminds me of my girlfriend. She's gorgeous, she's outspoken, she stops time, she enters the room and everyone looks at her. Like, that is exactly my girlfriend to a fucking T. And I was like, this is bad. Like, I'm falling for Ivy K. Harlow, and thank fucking God that in real life Ivy K. Harlow fell in love with me. That means I don't have to be Andy and live a pathetic life. And then this is kind of a weird crush, but I don't know if it's like compet or whatever. But I'm kind of in love with Nick from Hell Followed With Us. He was so, I don't know, there's just something about him. I imagine him being this incredibly cool, incredibly handsome, like, vigilante. And I was very much into that while reading Hell Followed With Us. And then question number 9, newest favorite character. And I feel like this also works as like fictional crush, because I'm also kind of in love with them. And that's Ray Lighton from Chef's Kiss by TJ Alexander. This book was so much fun, and Ray is non-binary, but they are more masc presenting, which I kind of really love too. But they were just such a fun character. They were such a darling. They were a sweetheart, and I don't know, I fell in love with them reading the book. So yeah, newest favorite character. Actually, I didn't have to think this through because I wrote my notes almost right after I read Chef's Kiss, and I knew Ray was gonna be one of my favorite characters this year. Question number 10, book that made you cry. I didn't have anything that made me cry this year yet, but 2 of the books that made me kind of emotional was This Is How You Lose the Time War and Normal People by Sally Rooney. This Is How You Lose the Time War was just amazing, magnificent. The writing was sublime, and the yearning made me kind of emotional a little bit, but yeah. And then Normal People was very relatable. I didn't expect to relate to the female main character. I forgot her name, but I didn't expect to relate to her that much, which is probably why I became quite emotional reading that book. But yeah, those were the two books that made me emotional. They didn't make me cry, but I got a little teary-eyed maybe during some parts. Question number 12, most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. I don't have it physically, it's on my Kindle, but I might buy it physically because it is absolutely stunning. The cover is so pretty and the poems are so nice. Yeah, it's a poetry collection. It's Under Her Skin, which is edited by Lindy Ryan and Tony Miller. Under Her Skin is a poetry collection written by women of horror, and the poems have a lot to do with body horror, which I love. I love it so far. I'm like halfway through and I'm loving it. So I might buy a physical copy of that because I want to annotate it and I want to highlight and I want to talk about the poems and I want to let people borrow it. I want to force them to read this book because it is just so good. Okay, number 13, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Bitch, I have like 1,000 books on my TBR and my physical TBR just keeps growing. But I'm going to name like 3 from my books to read in 2022 that I haven't read yet. I have my journal here, it's written there. And the first one that I need to get to, which I keep saying I will get to, but I have not yet, and it's halfway through the year, is Lovely War by Julie Berry. This book just sounds incredible, so I want to read that. Jesus fucking Christ, I need to read that, I swear to God. The Patient by Jasper DeWitt, which was my most anticipated like 2 years ago. What the fuck? Cherry, why haven't you read this yet? I need to read it, maybe in October because it's like the spooky season, or like in June, July, August, September maybe, because in August I'm going to be participating in Weekathon, which should be fun. Let's see how far I'll get there. And then what else? Another one I want to read this year definitely is My Dark Vanessa. My physical copy just came, so I will definitely be annotating and I'm excited. Yeah, those are the 3 books that I need to get to this year. Jesus fucking Christ. I have so many books that I want to read. Like, and I don't read any of them. And last question is, favorite book community member? I have a lot, especially since I've made like a lot of friends in the book community. But for booktubers, I have Books with Chloe, who I've been watching a lot recently. I don't know why, but I've been watching her a lot recently because, I don't know, she's just a lot of fun and her reactions to books just seem very genuine and I enjoy her content. And some bookish friends that I watch religiously, whenever they upload a video, I'm like on it, like almost ASAP, are Kim from Bookshelf Bunny, Jess from Just a Book Freak, and Natalie from Pastelwriter. Guys, I love your videos and I will continue to watch them till the day I die, basically. And then some Filipino booktubers that I also watch kind of religiously. First is MJ from mjmseco, and Sphynx or Spens from Sphynx Reads, and Ray from Ray Reads PH. I will link all of their channels in the description box down below so you guys can check them out too. They are some of my favorite channels and some of my dearest booktube friends. So I love watching their videos. They are absolutely fun. Thank you guys for sticking around because I love your content and it is just, I just feel so honored that you would choose to interact with me because I'm so fucking annoying. But yes, that is the mid-year book freakout tag, and I don't know, maybe I'll just stop uploading the rest of the year and just do the mid-year book freakout tag every year. I don't know, but yeah, I enjoyed doing this tag. It was a lot of fun, surprisingly. I'm usually intimidated doing like really popular tags because right now everyone's doing the mid-year book freakout tag, but I just felt like it was timely. I have not filmed a video in so long and want to talk about like my reading for the first half of the year. So yeah, those are the questions and those are my answers. And I guess that's it, maybe, for now. Yeah, I have a lot of videos planned. I just don't have the time because right now I'm like working a lot. But I feel like my schedule will be fixed soon once I've adjusted to this new work, and I might upload regularly in the next few weeks maybe, but we'll see about that. But for now, please have this offering. Anyway, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye!